Why is it so hard to let go, even when we know something is hurting us? We tell ourselves to move on, to forget, to stay strong, yet the memories keep returning, the heartbreak that still aches, the regret that whispers, "What if?" the anger that quietly burns, or the guilt that weighs on our chest long after the moment has passed. It's as if our minds keep replaying what we most want to release. We clutch the past, not because we enjoy suffering, but because we mistake holding on for control. We think that if we keep remembering, we can somehow fix it, rewrite it, or make sense of it. But the Buddha taught that clinging is the very source of our suffering. Like trying to grasp smoke, the tighter we hold, the less peace we find. Buddhist wisdom doesn't tell us to ignore our pain or suppress our feelings. Instead, it invites us to look directly at them, with compassion, understanding, and awareness. To see pain not as an enemy to fight, but as a teacher that reveals where we're still attached. The path to letting go is not about forgetting, it's about freeing the heart from the weight of what can no longer be changed. So if your heart feels heavy, take a breath. There is a way to soften this burden. Let's explore 5 timeless Buddhist teachings that can help you release what hurts and rediscover peace within yourself. Teaching 1. The nature of suffering. The Buddha's very first teaching after his enlightenment was simple, yet profound. Life contains suffering. He called it dukkha, the unease, dissatisfaction, and restlessness that arise when we cling to what we want or resist what we don't. Most of our suffering doesn't come from what happens to us, but from how we react to it. A breakup, a loss, a harsh word. These moments bring pain, yes, but when we replay them again and again, when we wish they had turned out differently, that pain multiplies. We create a second layer of suffering, the mental one. Think of holding a rope in your hand. If the rope begins to slip away and you grip tighter, it burns your skin. The more you resist the pull, the deeper the wound becomes. But the moment you loosen your hand, even slightly, the burning stops. The rope was never the problem. It was our reaction to losing control. This is the nature of dukkha. Pain is inevitable. It's part of being alive. But suffering, the ongoing torment we feel inside, arises from resistance. We suffer because we wish life were different than it is. The Buddha did not deny pain. Instead, he showed a way to understand it. When we stop running from discomfort and begin to observe it, something shifts. We realize that our pain has causes, craving, fear, attachment, and that anything that arises with causes can also fade when those causes are released. So rather than asking, "How can I stop hurting?" we might ask, "What am I clinging to?" Sometimes it's a person, sometimes it's a story about how things should have been, and sometimes it's the idea that life must go according to our plan. The Buddha's wisdom invites us to pause and see clearly. This is dukkha, not as a punishment, but as a teacher. When you begin to understand the nature of suffering, you take the first step toward freedom. Ask yourself gently, what if freedom doesn't begin by fighting pain, but by understanding it? When you see your suffering clearly, without judgment, it begins to loosen its grip, and what remains is peace. Teaching 2. Impermanence. Everything in this world is constantly changing. Every moment, every breath, every heartbeat. The Buddha called this truth anicca, the law of impermanence. Nothing, not joy, not pain, not even life itself, stays the same. And yet, this truth is one of the hardest for the human heart to accept. When we fall in love, we hope it will last forever. When we feel happy, we want to freeze that moment in time. When someone leaves or something ends, our hearts ache because we believed it could stay. But impermanence isn't cruelty, it's the nature of all things. Even the most beautiful flower must one day wither, and the brightest morning eventually fades into night. Imagine watching the sky. Clouds drift in, casting shadows, and then slowly pass. We don't try to hold on to them, we simply observe. Pain too is like that. a passing cloud in the vast sky of our awareness. When we realize this, we stop fighting the storm and instead learn to let it move through us. The Buddha often compared life to a river, always flowing, never still. You can step into the same river twice, but the water that touches your feet will never be the same. Our emotions are like that too. Grief changes, heartache softens. Even the deepest sorrow shifts shape over time. The only thing that keeps it alive is our resistance to letting it move. To practice awareness of impermanence, try noticing small changes around you. Watch how sunlight shifts across the room during the day. Notice how your breath rises and falls, how each inhale is new and each exhale is gone forever. See how thoughts appear and vanish like ripples on water. This simple mindfulness builds acceptance, a quiet understanding that nothing needs to last for it to be beautiful. When we truly see impermanence, grief begins to soften. We stop demanding that people or moments stay the same, and instead we cherish them more deeply while they're here. So the next time your heart aches for what's gone, whisper gently to yourself, "This too will pass." Not as a way to forget, but as a way to remember. That change is not the enemy. It's the rhythm of life itself. Teaching 3. Non-attachment. One of the Buddha's most transformative teachings is non-attachment, the art of letting go. But many misunderstand this idea. Letting go doesn't mean becoming cold, distant, or uncaring. It means learning to hold life gently, to love, to care, and to engage deeply without trying to control what cannot be controlled. The human mind clings by nature. It clings to people we've lost, to the way things used to be, and to the outcomes we wish we could guarantee. We tell ourselves, "If only it had gone differently," or "I'll be happy when things return to how they were." This clinging creates tension because we're grasping at what is already slipping away. Imagine holding a handful of sand. The tighter you squeeze, the faster it slips through your fingers. But when you relax your hand, open and steady, the sand rests softly in your palm. That's what non-attachment feels like. It's not about losing, it's about loosening. The Buddha compared attachment to trying to control the wind, futile and exhausting. When we insist that life follow our plan, we set ourselves up for disappointment. But when we release that need for control, something beautiful happens. The mind relaxes, the heart softens, and peace quietly returns. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. In fact, it allows you to care more freely. You can love someone without needing to possess them. You can work hard without being ruled by success or failure. You can grieve without drowning in the past. Non-attachment transforms love from dependence into compassion, an open-hearted way of being that doesn't bind you to suffering. Here's a simple practice to begin. The next time you feel overwhelmed or stuck in worry, pause and breathe deeply. As you exhale, silently repeat, "I release what is not mine to control." Feel the weight lift, even slightly. Notice how much of your suffering comes not from the situation itself, but from the struggle to hold on. Letting go is not a single act, it's a lifelong practice. Each breath teaches us that life is a constant process of taking in and releasing. When we trust that flow, we stop trying to command the river, and instead, we learn to move with it. That is the essence of freedom. Teaching 4. Compassion and forgiveness. When we are hurt, the mind naturally searches for someone to blame, sometimes another person, sometimes ourselves. We replay what happened, analyzing every word, every choice, every what if. But the Buddha taught that this endless cycle of blame only tightens the knot of suffering. True healing begins not with judgment, but with compassion, the understanding that all pain, including our own, arises from ignorance and fear. Compassion in Buddhism is not pity. It is the recognition that every being, including you, is doing their best within the limits of their understanding. People lash out when they're afraid. They make mistakes when they're lost in confusion or desire. Even the harm we cause ourselves through guilt or regret often comes from not knowing how to act differently at the time. The Buddha called this avidya, or ignorance, not stupidity, but the blindness of not seeing things as they truly are. When we see this clearly, our hearts begin to soften. We don't excuse harmful actions, but we stop carrying them like stones in our chest. We begin to understand that forgiveness isn't a gift we give to others. It's a release we give to ourselves. Holding on to anger is like gripping a burning coal, hoping it will hurt the other person. But it's our own hand that burns first. If forgiveness feels too hard right now, that's okay. You don't have to force it. Start instead with intention, a gentle opening of the heart. Try saying to yourself quietly, "May I be free from pain. May I find peace." Then, when you're ready, extend that same wish outward. May they be free from pain. May they find peace. You don't have to feel forgiveness immediately. Simply planting the seed of compassion is enough. Over time it grows, softening resentment, easing guilt, and allowing healing to take root naturally. Ask yourself this question: can I wish myself and others peace, even if I don't yet feel ready to forgive? That willingness, however small, is the beginning of liberation. When you let compassion guide you, the heart learns to breathe again. Forgiveness doesn't erase the past, but it frees your spirit to move forward, lighter, kinder, and unbound. Teaching 5. Mindful Presence. The Buddha once said, "Do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment." Because the truth is, most of our pain lives not in what's happening right now, but in the mind's endless wandering. When we're heartbroken, our thoughts drift backward, replaying what went wrong, reliving old moments that no longer exist, or they leap forward, imagining what will happen, fearing we'll never feel whole again. The mind becomes a pendulum, swinging between regret and fear. And in that swing, we lose touch with the only place healing can ever occur, the present moment. Mindful presence is the practice of returning to now, not to escape your emotions, but to anchor yourself in reality, in what is, not what was or might be. This is where peace begins. Try this simple practice. Take a slow, deep breath in. Feel the air enter your body, cool and steady. Now breathe out gently, noticing how your chest softens and your shoulders relax. Feel the ground beneath you, the quiet support that has always been there. Listen. Perhaps there's a faint hum of life around you, the sound of the present moment holding you. In this stillness, whisper to yourself, "In this moment, I am safe." Because right now, you are. You're not in the story of yesterday or the worry of tomorrow. You're simply here, breathing, alive, whole. This practice doesn't make pain disappear, but it changes your relationship with it. Instead of drowning in thought, you begin to see emotions rise and fall like waves. You become the calm shore, steady, grounded, observing without being swept away. The Buddha compared mindfulness to a lamp in the darkness. When you bring attention to the present, you illuminate the mind. You start to notice that beneath the pain, there is always stillness, a quiet awareness untouched by the storm. And from that stillness, healing unfolds naturally. Each breath becomes a reminder. You are not your past, not your fear, not even your sorrow. You are awareness itself, vast, open, and free. In this moment, you are safe. In this moment, you are enough. And in this moment, you are already healing. Letting go is not a single act. It's a journey, a gentle unfolding from understanding to acceptance to release. Through the Buddha's wisdom, we've seen how each teaching guides us step by step. First, to understand suffering, dukkha, then to accept change, anicca, to release control through non-attachment, to open the heart with compassion, and finally, to return to the present, where true peace lives. Each of these teachings is like a lantern along the path, lighting the way out of darkness. Together, they remind us that letting go isn't forgetting, it's remembering your freedom. It's choosing not to carry what no longer serves you and making space for clarity, lightness, and love to return. The Buddha once said, "When you let go, you gain everything." Every breath can be an act of release, a moment of trust in life's natural flow. Healing doesn't mean you stop feeling pain. It means you stop being imprisoned by it. If these reflections brought you peace or understanding, I invite you to continue this journey. Subscribe for more Buddhist wisdom and gentle guidance to help you heal, grow, and rediscover the freedom that has always been within you.